Hey, NOSA community. It is Shamika, and we are finally back. We're going back to back this week with another amazing presentation with a little bit of information. As always, thanks for being a part of our NOSA community here on YouTube. If you haven't, feel free, go ahead and subscribe. You're already here. And click that alert bell so you can get more updates on what's happening here on our YouTube community. And you can click the follow to the right and join our Facebook group as well. As always, we have some great information to share with you guys. And this topic is really applicable because we're hitting fourth quarter 2023 like in a couple of days. And I want to make sure and find out, are you ready for your next business venture? And the reason I ask this question is because many times around this time of year, myself, other NOSAs, other business people really get a snapshot picture of how was 2023 for me? How was my business? How did things go? Did I hit my goals? Are there things that I need to finish or improve upon? Kind of where we went for the last 9, 10 months. What have we been up to? So let's go ahead and talk about it and give you some quick tips on getting yourself ready and making the necessary changes to make sure that you're on track to do just that. And this also applies to my nurses. As we know, we have quite a few nurses that follow us here on YouTube. If you're thinking about jumping out there, you can. Putting your pinky toe out there, peeking around that corner, and getting more information and leaping into the healthcare staffing business. This is a good conversation for you as well. So we have our table of contents here where we're going to touch on all these topics. As always, with all of our presentations, I'm not going to read for you guys. You guys can handle that. I'm just going to give you updates, give you some examples, samples, some tips, some tricks, some things to be mindful of so that you're able to make the best decision for you and your future business. So if you're thinking about launching a business, any business endeavor, so this really applies to any kind of business. Of course, our focus here is healthcare staffing, but if you want to go from healthcare staffing to starting a CNA school or starting a scrub business, going into home care, you can definitely use these tips and tricks. You always need to be ready for the unexpected. So fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a crazy trip, but don't be panicked. You can improve your chances of success with the correct planning. And we probably should have underlined that. Planning, correct planning. It matters. It matters. This isn't something you want to wing it. A lot of times you're investing a tremendous amount of time and money. You want to have a plan. Now, it's not to say that that plan can't change over time or might need to get changed, but you always want to have a good foundation with a plan. So, let's talk about how to get ready for this roller coaster that you have ahead or before you and plunge into the world that may be a little blind to you, or it might be your second or third business in entrepreneurship. So, we'll just cover some of the things, some things you want to think about, some skills you want to build, and grab your coffee. Go ahead and settle in, and let's begin this conversation together. So, first and foremost, and I talk about this a ton, and it's really something you can use in life. It's not even specific to just business. Do your research. Is there a need for your particular business where you're located? And now, of course, many people will say healthcare staffing, they're needed everywhere. But I would be cautious to say that because sometimes there are elements and places in the United States where that market is oversaturated. And we'll talk a little bit more as we go into the presentation about how to stand out. So before you pursue your startup idea, conduct thorough research. Don't rush in to call yourself the next Elon Musk without the evidence, the proof that you can provide that. Understand who the industry players are, your competitors, who your target market would be. Calculate any costs involved, and remember, detailed research is essential for your success on any entrepreneurial journey. Prepare the lovely business plan, the dreaded business plan. And what I tell people is you don't have to do like a full blown out plan. You should, but you want to do an outline. So you want to kind of have and understand the components that go into creating any business because it really does give you the roadmap for your success. And here's a condensed summary of some of the elements of business plans. You want to talk about your objectives, your executive summary, your overview, which includes probably your mission statement, your vision. Discuss what your products or services are going to be. Talk a little bit about your marketing strategy, kind of how you're going to get your services out to the market. Identify who is your target market. And this is where I tell people to spend a little bit of time. In the United States, there are 2 to 4 million nurses. So when we say that we're a healthcare staffing business and we're staffing for nurses, that's not quite enough information. You want to be more specific. And we talked about that in our marketing strategy video. You want to say nurses in what area, what location, ages of nurses, experience of these nurses, years of experience, any specialties, any special certification. So you want to get as specific as possible. And then, of course, you want to start the process of um, in, introduction to key decision makers. So kind of identifying who the key decision makers are in meeting your intended goal or business plan, and of course begin the process of introducing yourself. Your business plan can be as comprehensive as you want it to be. Having it written allows you to be accountable, and if you have an accountability partner, which I would highly encourage, that would allow that individual to help you meet those goals and be accountable as well. So here are a couple of tips on starting your plan. Write a concise plan. It doesn't have to be a plan that you can't change later, as it should be a document that you can change over time. Include engaging information, executive summary. So when you're doing your research, you want to kind of do a broad amount of research that allows you to tailor it down to specific services that you'll be offering, showcasing what you'll be bringing to the market. So this isn't the area in the business that I tell people where you want to rinse and repeat. So you don't want to take someone else's vision, mission, statement, or information and kind of reword it and repeat it. You really want to take out the time the same way you should take out the time when you're thinking about the name of the business and really think about, hey, what am I trying to do? And sometimes talking to other people, brainstorming, joining with accountability groups or other types of groups, or even meeting with mentors or advisors helps kind of pull that out of you a little bit. When we talk about target market, again, the demographics matter. If there is a need, matters, because there are always situations where you may need a business investment. You may need a company to invest in your business. So these are some of the questions that they'll ask you about, which includes your target market, who's your competition, what sets you apart, the financial analysis piece, revenue projections, cost, profitability, supporting data, your key decision makers within your organization, kind of how you're going to operate, and of course, qualifications of your team. So next, learn the basics. So I tell everybody a lot of the stuff that I learned along our journey was through word of mouth. Some of it was through YouTube University. Some of it was through Facebook or attending events where experts in that particular area were located. So don't limit your learning opportunities or your ability to learn new things to just learning it through a book or through social media. You want to learn from a variety of places to get the information that you need. So before diving into entrepreneurship, grasp the basics. No need for a business degree necessarily. Understand critical elements that make or break your startup. And understanding those concepts are really key so that you're able to flourish once you get started. I tell people probably the last couple of years there's been so much popularity around launching your staffing business or launching your healthcare staffing firm or launching your healthcare um, staffing startup. But before you get to the part that you are launching, you need to know how the operation side of healthcare staffing works. So the steps are a little bit different. There's a lot of two-sided pieces to the industry that people aren't as aware of. So you should really make sure that you learn and understand the clinical side of the business in the same way that you should understand the business side. And I'm talking operations, accounting, financials, software, technology, scheduling. You want to have an understanding of that because sometimes that sometimes becomes the thing that could make or break your business. So you want to validate your concept that it's a need for what you're offering, um, ways that you can save time and money. If you're developing a product, create a clear vision and capable team. Um, Management, hire, if you're going to hire skilled individuals, who are those people, how they kind of fit within the organization. And then, find out what's going to keep your competition from what would make someone work with you versus your competition is essentially because there are some things that you'll learn trial and error, but a lot of the stuff you want to learn through just getting the education and the knowledge and applying it. Understanding your why, and this is a key element in your business plan. And what makes it special is because that becomes your tagline, that becomes your conversation starter. It'll be the way that people connect to you, want to work with you or partner with you. So, if you want to be successful in entrepreneurship, before you dive into entrepreneurship, understand what's motivating you. And this will tie into like your vision and your mission statement. What drives you, whether it's a financial freedom, the joy of creation, solving a problem, it's a passion of yours, it's a way to stay engaged in the community. Really define your purpose and what type of impact that you ultimately want to make. Developing skills. So, this is my favorite one, and this is what we've been trying to do this summer and as we go into the fall, and to kind of encourage people to work on is develop essential skills. And some of those skills are things that we may think that we have, but we never use, so we don't know that we don't have it. And it's usually stuff that we probably need to work on. So, an example that I'll give is public speaking. If it's not something that you naturally do as a part of your life, you probably aren't that great at it, and you might need to get some assistance with it to improve it. For aspiring entrepreneurs, mastering communication, because that's going to be a key part of what you do, communicating verbally, communicating in writing, nonverbal communication. You want to also master and work on your leadership skills, how to lead a team, how to effectively lead a team, how to deal with a team that may be going through trying times or changes or shifts in the industry. You definitely, and many times as nurses, we have a lot of these skills. Problem solving, knowing how to problem solve, understanding what problem solving is, adaptability. You have to be able to adapt to change. Adapting to change, adapting to shifts. I think COVID was probably one of the biggest industry shifts that we've seen in a long time, and we'll probably continue to see more shifts from that as we're in post COVID. And resilience and being a resilient person. So, one way that I encourage people to, or one thing that I think people should do before really getting started is kind of write a list about what you think you're really good at and what you think you may need help with. And that's a good starting point because one, that could identify if you have a partner, if you're looking to bring on a partner, but also it can identify, hey, if these are the areas that I'm not good in, let's say tech, for instance, that's somewhere where you want to spend your extra time. You want to take maybe a Zoom session or an in person class or workshop. It doesn't have to be a full blown course, but you want to work on those things. Um, you want to make sure that you're able to juggle multiple tasks. As entrepreneurs, a lot of times, especially on the service-based side of things, you're doing more than one thing. You're probably doing many things. You're leading teams, you're addressing, client concerns, you're addressing employee concerns, handling unexpected challenges, maybe all in the same day or all in the same hour. So how you manage those things is essential as well. And then you want to make sure that you're able to provide clear communication to convey ideas. Effective leaders are able to be creative, problem solve, and have the ability to adapt to tough setbacks. Next, build a network. And if you're hanging out here on the Nosa Group YouTube channel, you started that process already. But part of building a network is building your own circle, your own tribe, your own group who will help you along your entrepreneurial journey. And these individuals don't necessarily need to be people that you see in person. They may or may not be. I've done most of my tribe work for my business and within the NOSA group as well as outside of the NOSA group, and those people I don't see on an everyday basis. But some ways to kind of start the process of creating that network is through attending events, join startup communities, social media communities, connect with experienced individuals, like-minded entrepreneurs, mentors. I talk about it 100,000 times. SCORE offers a mentor program. A lot of other networking opportunities can happen at like your chamber of commerce, your small business development center in your local area, as well as your BNI. Those are all great places where you get a chance to connect with people who are like-minded, maybe on the same journey. They might also be experienced, connected to the community, and they don't have to be in your same industry to really add value to what you're trying to do. And a lot of times these interactions provide value, a different perspective, support, and opportunities for collaboration and investments. And then, of course, when you're building your network, you want to be on social media. That's where people are. That's not going to change anytime soon. So you're missing out tremendously if that's a point of, if that's a challenging place for you, you're missing out on an entire audience, as well as kind of building a level of awareness about who your business is, what you guys do. And it can be challenging to make that transition, especially if you're a little bit of an introvert like myself. But it's really important. That's how the word gets out. That's how I get 90% of my referrals. That's how people connect to me. And it also creates kind of the concept of putting a name to a face, creating a relatability to you and your business, which many times are things that individuals are looking for. So, gain some real world experience. If you're getting started, I had an individual reach out to me about an internship for our staffing agency. We've done internships, working with college students looking to get experience. Those are great ways. And then work with other businesses. You know, a lot of people have worked in other small business settings, whether it be home care or with other staffing agencies. Partnering with small businesses are great ways to kind of get some of that information about the process as you're getting started. Learn more about how people manage chaos, gain some hands-on experience, pursue some side projects. Start your own ventures like a blog, an app, or an online store, a social media platform like here on YouTube. Those are great ways to kind of put your pinky toe out there. And part of the side project could be that you're sharing your journey. That is 100% essentially how the NOSA groups got started. I was sharing my journey in getting our agency started 7 years ago. And from that conversation, I created the NOSA group. And now we're over 10,000 members nationwide. And we're doing really well as being able to bring together the community in person, connect virtually. And that was far from the initial idea for the business, but it's been the most rewarding element of the business for me. And one other thing that you can do too, that's similar to like the networking, is join incubators. Those incubators or collective sessions that are around like startups and newbies out there, though they're great environments for new business owners to get started and really be around experienced business owners that aren't necessarily specifically working in the healthcare staffing space. And one of the things that makes that nice is because they have the objective view that sometimes you need to kind of say, hey, so what are you going to be doing in the next 5 to 7 years? Which sometimes isn't always something that we're thinking about. Or have you ever thought about taking this approach with your business or that approach? Or how are you going to address this? So you want to make sure that you've given yourself the opportunity to kind of touch on as many questions as possible so that you're able to create the business plan, create the different strategies that'll give you more leverage over a longer period of time versus creating something to get you started or get you launched, but then kind of having to go back to the table to revisit some things because it wasn't fully thought out. Keep learning and growing, as I always love to do. Um, Starting a business, living life these days is really an endless puzzle. Part of your success has to include learning. I tell people about conferences and events and things like that all the time. I probably attend 2 Zoom education related sessions a week, and I'll continue to do that. Dive into some business and self-development books to gain some insight and inspiration. I also listen to podcasts and webinars from experts. It's not always staffing related. Sometimes it's nursing related, sometimes it's both. Sometimes it's not related to any of those topics. It could be just like personal and self-development types of things. Order online classes and workshops for skill development, which I've done as well. Um, your knowledge is your power, and I tell people being a nurse or NOSA really gives you a level of expertise that sets you apart immediately. So the more you learn, the more you're willing to face that challenge and embrace the opportunities that come your way, the more successful your business will ultimately be. And finally, you're gearing up for your next business venture. I've given you a few things that you can work on to get you started. You're in the right place. So let's dive into some essentials to prepare you for success in the business. First, do your research. That's going to be your foundation of your business. Without it, you will struggle. Understand your industry. I know you're a nurse or a NOSA, but understanding the industry from a broader perspective, not just a nurse working on the clinical floor, is really good because you're able to take into account the business elements that go into making the whole organization work as a whole. Know your competition. Um, know who your target market is inside and out. So that means age, demographics, location. And if you really want to dig a little deep, you want to know hobbies, where they shop, things they like to buy. That really digs a little bit deeper. But on the surface level, most of us don't get into that. But some of your tech competitors do. So it's something worth looking into. Think of it as a gathering knowledge journey. You know, um, additionally, you want to calculate your startup costs. You want to you don't want to get started and then the barrier to continuing your journey is money. So set aside the money. Many of us have started the business and worked the business. Some of us have set aside the money in the early stages where we picked up shifts and that money was set for that. But really start to think through that piece of it, because whether you're supported by a funding company or you're self-funded, the money will go fast. And really think about your business plan as this: it's your guiding GPS. is the entrepreneurial wilderness, and it's your movie trailer giving investors a glimpse of what's to come. So when you're doing it, have fun with it. You know, get silly with it sometimes because people want to really know who is a heart, who is a person, who is the real everyday person behind this business. So within it, you want to make sure that you have executive summaries and all the essential elements to stay on the right path for your success. So as always, thanks for hanging out here with us on our channel. We're glad to have you here. If you like our content, go ahead and click that like button as well. Feel free to hang out and get more updates on our latest videos that we'll be having coming out over the next couple of days. As well, if you have some questions, drop them here in the comments. I'll answer them either via our office hours or I'll answer them in the comment section as a response. If you want to join us for Office Hours Live, we'll be doing that this coming Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern. The link is in the community tab, but we'll also post it here on our YouTube channel and our other social media platforms. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll be chatting with you.